In previous topic, we discussed about the wetland plants, constructed wetland plants, which are used in treatment of wastewater. Okay, so these different species of constructed wetlands are used to treat the municipal wastewater and domestic wastewater. Okay, so the next one is the vermiculture technology. So vermiculture, it is nothing but the vermi biofilter. So that filter which consists the earthworm, so that is called as vermi biofilter, and that earthworms and bacteria which help in treatment of that wastewater. Okay, so that filter which consists or the filter with the earthworms, so that is called as vermi filter. So that earthworm which help to remove the organic load from that wastewater and which purify that wastewater, which we get the good quality of effluent at the end. Okay, so you can see that picture in that you can see the soil system, that is the bacterial activity, that is degradation of organics, then organic degradation convert into the humus, that is fertilizer, and also they release the nutrients like NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, and that nutrients uptake by the plants, that is the nutrient used by plant for the plant growth and plant production. Okay, so in this way into the soil that bacterial activity occurs, in which the degradation of organics takes place, and the degradation of organics result into the humus, that is fertilizer, and the release of nutrients, and that nutrients uptake by plants, which help for the plant growth and plant production. Similarly, the evapotranspiration process, precipitation, and nitrogen fixation. This process also simultaneously occurs with the bacterial activity. So apply waste and apply dust rock particles. Okay, next, that is assist the gizzard action of earthworm. Okay, so what happened here? That boring type earthworm activity that release the vermicast or uh, earthworms which produce the vermicompost which help in soil aeration and porosity. Yes, that is a regulation of soil aeration and porosity that can be done by vermicast. Okay. So symbiotic relation between waste, soil, bacteria and earthworm, gizzard action of earthworms assisted by rock and dust, and vermicast or vermicompost which regulate soil aeration and porosity. So bacterial activity, that is a degradation of organics which convert into the humus and nutrients. Vermifilter. So vermifilter which improve, that is vermifilter, the filter with the earthworms, that is called as vermifilter. Okay, so that vermifilter which consists the sand and the gravel and the earthworms and the soil. Okay, so these are the different uh, parts of the vermifilter. So that vermifilter with earthworms that improve the soil filter and bacteria and active root zone bed of selected plants. Workforces, soil, so soil suitable environment for earthworm and microorganism. Then earthworm which graze only on the surplus bacterial crop, aids soil aeration, produce vermicasting and vermicompost. Bacteria also help in organic oxidation, plant root which reduce also the organics and total solid, and the biofill. So these are the various process which occurs in vermifilter. It is soil, earthworm, bacteria, plant root and biofilm. These all are the workforces in vermifilter. So efficiency of this vermifilter is 80 to 90%. That is a removal of organic solid, removal of suspended solid and total solid, and also removal of turbidity and all. It almost 80 to 90%. So vermifilter, it is good in good efficiency or efficient in removal of BOD, COD and other characteristics, and efficiency vary from 80 to 90%. So this is the structure of vermi biofilter or vermifilter. So a raw sewage inlet okay, then inlet chamber. So you can see that is the structure of vermifilter, which consists the under drainage system for the collection of wastewater. Then above that, the gravel, above gravel, you can see the sand layer. So above sand, there is a soil for the uh, earthworms, and at the end, the final at the top, that is a vegetation. So in the sense, you can say the wetland plants. Okay, so this is the structure of the vermifilter, the wetland plants, then soil, then sand, and then gravel, and the drainage system. Okay, so raw sewage allowed to pass over through the top layer. Okay, so whatever that process or treatment which occurs at the top layer, that is by the wetland plants and the root of the plants and the soil and as well as earthworm, these all are the forces which act or which purify the wastewater, and finally you get the clear water at the bottom of that filter that is under the drainage. So effluent we can discharge from the right side. Okay. So this is the structure of the vermifilter, which consists of the drainage system, then gravel, then soil, then gravel, then sand, then soil, earthworm with the wetland plants. So this is the sludge treatment method, which supported the drainage pipe, then the coarse stone, then gravel, then sand, and then wetland plant. So the substrate used in wetland plants are the gravel, plastic, broken brick, and natural sand. So these are the various material we can use as a substrate in wetland plant system. This is a typical wetland plant system. Cost comparison. Next, MBBR, this moving bed biofilm reactor. It is again one of the method which is used in the domestic wastewater treatment. Okay, so here the MBBR, that is the carrier element. So plastic elements or plastic which is used for the growth of the bacteria, and the bacteria growth uh, uh, bacteria which survive, and growth of bacteria occurs over that elements, that is called as carrier elements. Okay, so the working is same like activated sludge process, but the moving bed biofilm reactor here are used, that is called as carrier elements, and plastic mostly used. Okay, so influent, you can see influent, that is wastewater allowed to pass in aeration tank. So aeration tank where the air can be supplied from the bottom, and which consists of the carrier element, that is a biofilm reactor. And finally after the treatment we get the effluent in the secondary settling time. So sludge can be settled down, and finally you get the final effluent which can be disposed or which can be recycled. That is the MBBR, moving bed biofilm reactor. So these are the different types of carrier element which help in the growth of the organism in wastewater, and which help in the purification and the treatment of wastewater. Okay. Uh, okay, so carrier. So what material we can use here? So polythene material we can use as a carrier element. Surface area to microorganism of growth as biofilm. Free movement of bacteria. Then contact between microbes and media, and general characteristics of biomedia. Okay. So material, you can consider the polythene, polyethylene, and density of media 0.97, length 9 mm, diameter 25 mm, and number of media per meter cube 140000. So this design parameter of MBBR: organic loading rate, SLR, MLSS, HRT, hydraulic retention time, mixed liquor suspended solid, and media. These are some design parameter of MBBR. Advantages of MBBR. Okay, so advantages of this system: which compact units, small footprints, increased treatment capacity, operation at higher suspended biomass, high organic loading, high FM ratio, strong tolerance of loading impact, no sludge bulking problem, and nitrogen removal. These are various advantages of MBBR methods. So also this method having some of the disadvantage, that more aeration required, difficult to maintain thin biofilm on media, design or empirical. DO has to be relatively high because the DO concentration is the limiting factor in the biofilm process. A high driving force in terms of DO concentration across the biofilm is therefore required. This is the next upward flow anaerobic sludge blanket. This we already discussed. So influent or wastewater is allowed to flow from the water, okay, so which consists the sludge granule, sludge bed, gas bubble, and gas cap. From that biogas can be collected, and effluent from that we can collect the treated effluent. Okay, so that is three-phase separator. Lagoon process, we discuss about the lagoon. So aerobic lagoon, which used for the removal of BOD. Then other the facultative lagoon and anaerobic lagoon. These are all help for the removal of the BOD and nitrification. Household decentralized treatment system. So domestic wastewater, which consists grey water up to 50 to 80%, bathing 50 to 60, cloth washing 25 to 30%, kitchen 10%, black water 20 to 50%, that is from the toilet and urinals, hand washing and bathing, less contaminant, soap, shampoo, hair dye, toothpaste, cleaning product, some fecal contamination, cloth washing, kitchen grey water which consists food particles, oil, fats and other waste, chemical pollutants such as detergent and cleaning agent. So this is the typical characteristics of grey water. So pH of grey water vary from 6.4 to 8.1. Suspended solid vary from 40 to 340 mg per liter. Turbidity vary from 15 to 270. BOD 5 days vary from 45 to 330 mg per liter. Then nitrite, ammonia, sulfate, conductivity, hardness vary from 15 to 50 mg per liter, sodium and fecal coliform. So these are the typical characteristics of grey water. Okay. So then what are the treatment options for grey water? So as we already discussed, grey water it is what? Nothing but the wastewater which collected from the houses, but it does not include the wastewater from the urinals and wastewater from the toilet. Okay. So grey water which consists the wastewater which collected from the bathroom, from the wash basin and from the kitchen. Okay. So the treatment options for grey water, current practice grey water and black water, sewage system, and commonly we can treat that all water. So black water effluent from septic tank and grey water soak pit. Untreated grey water we can also use for the gardening. So currently these are the options which are used for the treatment of grey water, either a sewerage system which transport the sewage at the disposal point, either we can use septic tank and soak pit, and either we can use as for the gardening. So these are some of the treatment options for grey water treatments. So the first one is the septic tank, that is an anaerobic treatment, then anaerobic filter. So these two methods act as an anaerobic treatment method for the grey water, septic tank and anaerobic filter. If you consider aerobic method like a slow sand filter, simply the gravel and the sand that act as a sand filter. Next, horizontal roughening filter and vermifilter that we already discussed, the filter with the earthworms. So earthworm, soil, sand and gravel which act as a vermifilter. And finally the anaerobic and aerobic that is called as constructed wetland. Okay, so these are the various treatment options for grey water, that is the constructed wetland, vermifilter, slow sand filter and the septic tank. So these are the mostly used these are the various options which we can use for the treatment of grey water. So this is the septic tank. Okay, so septic tank which having the inlet from that wastewater collected, then sludge, liquid and scum in 3 layer, and at the end outlet from that we can collect the treated waste. Baffle septic tank, it is combination of septic tank and USB bed reactor principle. Incoming wastewater passes through the active bacteria sludge in each compartment, which remove 65 to 90% of BOD, and pre-treatment in settler or septic tank, anaerobic filter. So these anaerobic filter having some of the areas like surface area, then lawn or film that goes on the filter, cleaning by backwash, 70 to 90% of BOD removal. It is an anaerobic filter, column filled with the various types of solid media. This upflow downflow filter, which consists of gravel and sand, coarse sand and fine sand. Gravel size vary from 40 to 60 mm. Then gravel having size vary from 20 to 40 mm. Coarse sand size vary from 1 to 5 mm, and at the end fine sand, which size having 0.1 to 1 mm. Very fine sand. So these are the various treatment alternatives for grey water. So first, screening for removal of floating solid, equalization tank for the removal of suspended solid and to obtain the least variable quality effluent, then gravel filter and sand filter, finally broken brick charcoal filter, and at the end chlorination. Secondly, screening and equalization tank, upflow downflow filter, and similarly again broken brick charcoal and the chlorination. Third, screening and coarse filter we can use. Then we can use constructed wetland plants, and finally the charcoal filter and chlorination. Fourth, screening and equalization tank, anaerobic filter, broken brick charcoal and chlorination. Fifth option we can use screening, equalization tank, anaerobic filter and wetland chlorination. Wetland and chlorination. Okay, so these are the various treatment alternatives which we can use for grey water. Okay, so treatment alternatives for grey water and black water, combinedly domestic wastewater, that is grey water plus combinedly black water. So we can use this system for grey water and black water. So screening and equalization tank plus from the septic tank we can use anaerobic filter, finally constructed wetland and chlorination. Secondly, screening equalization tank, septic tank, constructed wetland, and broken brick, charcoal filter, and chlorination. And third, for grey and black water, again same screening equalization tank, septic tank, worm filter, that is the earthworm filter, and finally you can treat with the broken brick or charcoal filter and chlorination, which is used to kill the bacteria. Okay. So these are the treatment alternatives for black water. So septic tank, anaerobic filter, wetland plants, and treated black water. So you can see here mostly the constructed wetland plants which we can use for the treatment of wastewater. Maintenance of treatment system. So these are some treatment units, then activity, then frequency of cleaning and purpose. So first, equalization tank. So what activity? Desludging. So we need to remove the sludge from the equalization tank, and the frequency of cleaning weekly to maintain the volume. Horizontal filter, hose filter, they're having also need to clean within a week to maintain the efficiency. Sand filter, which needs to refill upper layer weekly to overcome the choking problems. Cleaning is also required within a 10 days to maintain effective filtration. Filter broken bricks, that is cleaning 10 days, which used for the color removal. Wetland plants, that is removal of grass and plants, which frequency of cleaning 2 months to maintain efficiency. Chlorination, which is used frequency of cleaning daily, and activity at the proper dose, and the purpose, which is disinfection, that is killing of pathogenic bacteria. Collection tank, which is used to reuse the water, so frequency of cleaning 2 days and maintain quality of water. Okay, so this is the different maintenance of treatment system: equalization tank, horizontal filter, coarse and sand filter, broken filter, broken bricks, wetland plants, chlorination, and collection tank. Cost of existing grey water reuse system. So this is some cost. Okay, so now reuse and recycling of water. This topic we already discussed. So reusable treated wastewater, direct potable, indirect potable, direct non-potable, indirect non-potable. Water recycling. Where to recycling water? Firstly, we can discharge the wastewater into water bodies to reduce the prevent pollution. effective and successful and reliable water supply for non-potable reuse, sustainable approaches and can be cost effective in the long term, initially expensive and plays greater role with increase in water and environmental needs.